Really looking forward to this chat with one of the all-time good people in professional golf and on the PGA Tour. Is a nine-time winner, is a former FedExCup champion, is one of the players who's broken 60 in his PGA Tour career. But he does some of his best work outside the ropes and in the communities as well. And that's why Brandt Snedeker was awarded the Payne Stewart Award this past August. We'll get into all of it today with Brandt, who's competing in Bermuda at the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. Brandt, thanks for some time. Do appreciate it. Good to see you. How's the week going so far there in Bermuda?
It's going good. It's my first time down here. It's a little windy, to say the least. It's been kind of wind blown the first couple of days, and don't know if it's going to let up too much, but excited for the week and excited to be down here and kind of experiencing island life down here in Bermuda for the first time.
Not too bad. Yeah, I know the
Yeah,
season has not gone the way you had hoped, certainly not
yeah,
up to your standards, but
yeah.
I know injuries have had a lot to do with that. But your last couple of finishes, 26th and 16th, actually your best two of the year. So a little spark of encouragement and optimism going into the week?
Yes, we were talking before I got on air with you that, I kind of finally fixed my putting. It felt like about a month ago and feel real confident with what I'm doing now and kind of makes it's amazing when I get back to putting the way I'm used to putting. Everything else gets a little easier. I don't have to hit it quite as close. I don't have to hit as many quality shots in a round and still be able to shoot a good score. So I'm excited about this week and the rest of the fall. I'm playing next week in Sea Island as well, and then starting next season out on a good note. So I'm really excited about what the next couple of years hold for me.
We'll file this under things I never thought I'd hear Brandt Snedeker say, and I needed to fix my putting is right at the top of the list. You've
Yeah.
got to give us a little more of that backstory, please.
Yeah, the last couple of years, I've really struggled with it. I've not felt really comfortable with it. I've missed a lot of short putts, which I normally never do, and just kind of it gets in your head to a while to where at the point, you feel like you have the yips and feel like things are not going to go in. And watch some old video, be back when I was a rookie on tour in the first couple of years, and noticed my setup was way different then than it is now, and kind of went back to that setup, and all of a sudden the ball started coming out of the center putter every time, and started rolling good again, and all of a sudden I didn't have a yip anymore, and so it's been really good the last couple of weeks, and feels like I'm kind of back to my old self, which is nice.
Was it just intuitive, that the idea of going back and looking at
No,
old video?
no, I mean I do that all the time, just trying to see if when something's off, and I've looked at my putting probably more hours than I care to think about in the last 4 years, 3 years, and it's funny when I was playing my best, I never looked at my putting, I never practiced it really that much. It was just always good, and I probably practiced more hours in the last 4 years than I have in the first 10 years of my career out here. So it's nice to be able to get that feeling again and know, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like. This is what my tendencies are, and it's been real fun to play golf, knowing that my putting's going to be there for me.
How long ago does 2007 feel, by the way, your rookie of the year season on the tour?
Yeah, it feels a long way. It looks a long time ago when I look at myself compared to then and now. It doesn't feel that long ago. You get into a routine out here, and these years, they say the days go by slow and the years go by quick, and they certainly do. They feel like I still feel like I'm not an old guy out here, although my body says I am and my age says I am. But I still love competing out here. I still love being out here with the guys, and I still love getting to travel around and play great golf courses all over the world.
Well, the age of 43 is still very much in a player's competitive prime
Yes.
these days. You've had a couple of hip surgeries. You've had a
Mhm.
sternum injury that has plagued you for a long, long time. How does the body feel after 436 starts?
Yeah, it doesn't feel as good as it did my rookie year, that's for sure. I have to do a lot more maintenance now than I ever thought I'd have to, and I'm going to have to deal with the sternum and rib issues for the rest of my career. It's just something that I'm cursed with, but I've got a plan together now where I feel like I can play 20, 25 events pretty consistently the rest of my career, and know that get my body ready to play, and I'm excited about it. I love the challenge of it now. It's different than it was. It's kind of getting back to get my body moving the way I want it to, and being disciplined enough to be able to put the time in, and then get back to, as everybody says, everybody loves competing on Sundays. It's the off weeks where you get the ability to compete on Sundays. It's the time you put in away from the golf course when nobody's looking that really makes a difference on how you play and don't play. And I haven't been able to do that just because of injuries. And so now that I'm getting to where I can, it feels more and more likely that I'm going to start playing a lot better.
You said you're at peace with where you are as a competitor, which I thought was an interesting view of your career, but that is not at all to suggest that you're done competing and winning, right?
No, yeah, no, yeah. I just think when you get to my age out here on tour, and how good the guys are, how young the guys are, and I got to be an assistant captain at President's Cup a couple weeks, a couple months ago, and to see those guys and what they play, I'm a realist too. Like I've got to be completely aware of what's going on, and doesn't mean I can't compete with these guys and still beat them. I still think I can. It's just going to be on certain weeks, and I have to be prepared and ready to go. And so, try not to push myself the way I did early on, and into kind of getting into these ups and downs, and really try to enjoy the moments I'm in right now, and enjoy the time I have out here, and enjoy playing against these guys, and not be so hard on myself. And I think that'll lead to better golf and more enjoyable golf, more importantly, and realize how lucky I am to do this, and not get so caught up in the miscuts and the bad finishes or whatever it may be.
I'm glad you brought up the President's Cup because Royal Montreal was electric. I've never seen anything like it in all my years covering the President's Cup, where one team swept the session on Thursday and then the next team, the Internationals, on day two, swept 5 matches. It was electric there. What was the experience like being part of the captaincy?
Yeah, it was really exciting, really cool. I didn't really know what to expect. I felt very honored to step in for Keegan when he got on the team, and getting to spend time with Xander and Patrick and Scotty and all those guys, get to know them a lot better was really cool. And seeing the other side of it, being in the captain's room, helping those guys, helping Jim make the picks and set up the pairings, and having team message every night and how to go about that. I thought Jim did a fantastic job of just really letting the guys take ownership in the team, making sure they felt like this was their team. We're just there. We're conduits. We're not making policy here. It's you guys' team. You guys go play great, and we're here to support you. And so it was fun to see that and get to know those guys on that level and know that you care about them, know that you want them to play great. And the guys responded. I think it was really a close match. People don't understand. They see the final score and think we blew them out. We did not. There was times on Saturday and Sunday where if you'd have been on those captain's calls, we were on the radio mics, we were like, what is going on? How is this going so bad so quick for us? We need some birdies out here. And so I was playing the next week in Jackson, so I took my golf club thinking I would be able to hit a golf ball. I didn't touch a golf club for 10 days because you're just up there with those guys trying to make sure they're ready to play. And so it was different, definitely different than I was anticipating, but it was a lot of fun. And the guys played great golf. Both teams did. I was talking about it with some people and just saying, I don't think I've seen that high quality of golf at a team event in my career out here. Everyone I've been a part of, I didn't see, there was not one hole that I saw was given to the other team or a bad shot. I mean, it was, I watched Patrick all week. I was kind of with him and he played phenomenal. And I kept waiting. I was like, Patrick, somebody's going to give you a hole here at some point, man. Just keep playing the way it never happened. I mean, he had to shoot 600 or 700 par every day to win by 1 or 2 up. And I was just credit to both teams of how well they played.
Keegan had such a good year, as you mentioned. He just competed, just had too much on his plate to captain as well.
Yeah.
But he will be at the wheel for the U.S. Ryder Cup team at Bethpage, and you'll be one of his lieutenants next fall there. And I'm sure you're bracing for it's just going to be a crazy week there in New York City.
It is, and the calls have picked up, the texts have picked up. We're actively trying to figure out how we're going to handle it, how we're going to handle these guys, how we're going to get the team ready to play, and put these guys in the situation to be successful. And so it's been fun. It's been, I learned a lot under Jim's captaincy of what goes into it, and I learned a ton. And hope I can help Keegan understand that, time goes by really quick. You don't have as much time as you think you do. Making sure we got a plan together for these guys so that they know when they show up there on Monday or Sunday before they match us, we have a clear plan of what they want to do, how we're going to handle everything, what they're going to be asked to do. And that way there's no surprises and those guys can go out and just play great golf.
Given the chain of command and the channel of communication and how it all works every other year with the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup, I'm going to make the natural assumption that you're going to want to captain one of these teams down the road someday, yeah?
I would love to. I mean, after being a part of this last one, I realized how much harder work it is, but I realized how much fun it is to be around the guys and realize that it's, the captaincy is more just we're kind of a flag holder for the guys. We're there to take all the pressure off them, to make sure they have fun, to put them up in a situation to play as great golf as possible and let them go have fun and enjoy it because it's super stressful. It is a tough week for those guys. It's a lot of time on the golf course, a lot of time doing stuff off the golf course. And so, after being a part of a couple of them as a player and now as one of the captain, it was really cool to see the difference and what goes into it. Yeah, I'd love to have the opportunity. But right now my focus is trying to help Keegan get this thing ready for New York because it's going to be crazy and it's going to be insane. And we have to have a good, clear plan of how we're going to handle it.
You would have played the U.S. Open at Bethpage in 02 and 09, both years?
I didn't play 02. I played 09. I played the
Okay.
PGA there in I think it was 16,
Right.
maybe we were there. Yeah.
And of course, you played the President's Cup in 2013, 2 U.S. Ryder Cup teams, 2012, 2016, both captained by your good friend, Davis Love, who I know has been one of your idols and inspirations
Yes.
through the years. 2 very different results. 2012 is one I'm sure everybody would like to forget, but 2016 rather, Brandt, redemption for the U.S. side, right?
Yes, it was. It was the best of both worlds. 2012 we had a great team, and I just won the FedEx Cup the week before and going to Chicago and just felt we had everything going. And to have that singles, have Poulter make that putt on Saturday afternoon, which everybody thought was a meaningless putt at the time, turning out to be a pivotal kind of swing in momentum, and then go down singles and just not playing great, not having our guys bring our best stuff, and to lose that was pretty heartbreaking. It was really tough, and more tough so for Davis and how bad I felt for Davis and the captains of how much time they put into it. So to have that chance in 16 to bring the cup back and get Davis that win was so special. And the guys played fantastic. We had a great week, great team room. The guys were so bought into being selfless for a week and being the head of the team above all else. And I think it's the hardest thing to get into is as a captain is making sure the team feels like it's their team. They're the ones driving the bus. If one guy fails and 11 guys win, we still win. That's okay, and not to take it so, individualistic. And so that's a really hard thing to do in a team event when you only get together for, 1 week out of the year. So to find a way to foster that team chemistry and that team buy-in is kind of the main goal of the captain, the vice captains, to bring that to the team.
Your good friend Davis said you're one of the top 3 all-time criers that he's ever seen in the game. Steve Stricker and Bubba Watson. That's some pretty heady company. So we all knew that the acceptance of the Payne Stewart Award in August, Brandt, was going to be emotional for you. You said it was when you were rehearsing the speech. You said it was on the night that you accepted the award as well. You've had a lot of time to reflect on it. It's a massive achievement to everyone who has been honored with the Payne Stewart Award through the years. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, it kind of means everything. It's the whole reason why I started out playing golf and being a rookie on tour was to not only have a great career and play great golf and win tournaments, but it's also to leave a mark in the game in a positive way, right? To make sure that people knew I do things. I try to do things the right way. I try to treat people the right way. I try to compete the right way. I try to have fun while I'm doing it. I try to be somewhat down to earth when I realize how lucky I am to do what I do. And in the meantime, try to find a way to get back to Nashville. We don't have a PGA Tour presence in Nashville. I'm kind of the only guy there. To bring a Corn Ferry event there now, to have my foundation there now, to be giving back to the local community the way we are is really special. It's something my wife and I take very seriously and very honored to do. And it was really cool to have that moment with my friends and family, with the other recipients and with the players in the room, of being acknowledged that way. You always think your peers have an idea of who you are, but to be acknowledged in that group of people that have come before me and for them to think I'm worthy is really special. And so, you never realize how big a deal it is until it kind of comes upon you and you go through the award ceremony and the weeks after, and people are coming saying, congratulations, that's something I want to accomplish, or watch the speech, watch the award. It was fantastic. And I realized how special it was, and still do to this. It's the number one trophy I have in my trophy room right now, something I'll never forget. And it's front and center for a reason. It's because that's what I strive to set out to goal to do, is to do things in a certain way out here on tour, and to be recognized for that is really special.
I know when you were a kid, Payne Stewart was one of your guys, along with Arnold Palmer and Tom Watson. And there's a connection there. Your grandmother, who introduced you to the game, was introduced to the game herself by Payne's dad. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So all my family's from Springfield, Missouri. So that's where Payne is from. And so my grandmother knew Payne's father, and kind of the reason why I got started in the game of golf. She got me my first set of clubs. She just loved watching Payne. She didn't play, but she just loved watching Payne Stewart play golf. And so when I would hang out with her, and she was kind of my chauffeur all summer long when I'm playing golf tournaments, my parents were working, she would just drive me kind of everywhere. And so we'd always watch Payne Stewart play golf. And I loved his charisma. I loved his smile. I loved the way he competed. I loved everything about the way Payne played. And so cool to have my name associated with him. As I said in my speech, we're so fortunate out here. You get to play with a bunch of your idols and your heroes. And the one guy I wanted to play with more than anybody was Payne. I never got that chance, obviously. To be associated with him in this way makes me feel extra special. It makes me feel like I'm part of his crew, part of his people that I got to meet, and very blessed and honored to have this, and know that it's something I carry very seriously with me going forward, to make sure that I honor his legacy, honor that award, and keep doing things the way that he would have loved to see.
And the $300,000 grant from Southern Company toward the Junior Golf Initiative in Middle Tennessee is a pretty big deal as well, isn't it?
It's hugely helpful. We're very fortunate in Nashville to have a great junior golf program in the state of Tennessee, and we do a lot with it. We run the tour. It's called the Sneds Tour. We had our best year ever this last year. We just had a meeting a couple weeks ago where we had over 215 events this year. 2,225 kids played, and we're growing. We're growing into North Alabama, North Mississippi, North Georgia, Southern Kentucky, Western Arkansas, or Eastern Arkansas, Western Virginia. So it's really cool to see this growth happen and see kids coming. We had kids from 9 different states play this year, which is insane for a state junior golf tour. So the needs there. We're trying to get out as much as we can, have as many kids get exposed to the game as possible at a very cheap, affordable way. It's close to home, that it inspires all skill levels, from beginners to guys who want to play college golf. So it's been fun to watch it grow. It's been fun to be a part of it. And I know my wife and I are super proud of how it's grown, and we love being passionate about it.
I wanted to get your take on something just before we wrap this up. There's a a meeting of the PGA Tour Policy Board on November 18th. They're going to look at a bunch of proposed changes. I know you're familiar with these. There's proposed changes to field size, and there's some pace of play initiatives that are out there as well. Corn Ferry Tour cards are being trimmed from 30 to 20. But the big one, Brandt, was the number of fully exempt players on the PGA Tour, the number of cards, if you will, that will be given out, down from 125 to 100. What's your read on all this?
Yeah, I think it's, for me, being out here a long time, there's been a lot of change in the tour in the last 4 or 5 years, more so than my first 20 years on tour. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. There's just been a ton of change. And I feel like when there's a ton of change in a super short period of time, a lot of stuff gets left out. All the great plans that you have kind of get thrown in a washing cycle when the actual implementation of them come through. And so I worry about the idea behind it. To me, sounds great, right? A few smaller fields, a few less cards, a way to get people around faster, better for TV, supposedly. All these things seem like a great idea at the time. I worry about what you're losing, what you're giving up to get to there. We were told that these signature events these last year were going to have higher TV ratings, better for our product, better for this. And the reality is it has not changed that much at all. And so you look at these things and you say, well, what's the tour always been about? It's always been a meritocracy. It's always been about giving back to the local communities. It's always been about guys going out there and playing, competing, and earning their job. And I feel like we're getting a little bit away from that in a sense. And it's turning more into a business, a bottom line of black and white. And I worry the tour is getting away from its core beliefs and its core values. And so there's obviously a better way to do things. I'm not saying we should ever stay in the past. I'm fine with going to 100 tour cards. I think that'll produce a better product. I have no problem with that. I worry about losing Monday qualifiers. Is that really a great thing? I mean, losing 4 spots a week, is that really going to do anything? I don't think it is. It's a revenue stream that the PGA America needs, the PGA Tour uses, that we're going to lose now. It's great stories to have those guys on Monday qualifiers come in and play great and support their local community. I feel like that's an area we shouldn't be losing. I guess I'm getting the old guy, get off my front lawn kind of talk now, but it's just kind of, to me, I understand we have to change with times. I understand golf has changed and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes you lose that North Star of what's driving your tour when you get away from your core beliefs, your core values. And every once in a while, you need to have a reality check of like, well, this is what we've been successful for this long for these core reasons. Why are we getting away from that now? What has changed? Well, obviously, the pro golf landscape has changed. Okay, but our values shouldn't change with the pro golf landscape. Our values should stay the same. And we kind of tweak it here and there to try to make it better, but don't change the core values of who you are as a company and what's been so successful for so long. So that's my thought on it. That's kind of how I believe. And I feel like change should be a lot slower implemented, should be a lot more well thought out. Instead of every year, I feel like the tour is changing immensely, drastic changes every year for 4 straight years, where it's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen when you don't give it time to figure out what the first change did. And then you change everything the next year. Well, what did that do? Well, I don't know. We haven't had more than 2 years of the same policy in the last 5 years. So kind of hard to see how changes are actually going to take place when you don't let something bake for a little while in the oven.
That is a really well thought out, well informed take. Not surprising from someone who always has had one of the most respected and influential voices in the game. I'm sure anyone willing to listen to Brandt Snedeker would appreciate that feedback. And I appreciate your time today, Brandt. It was great catching up with you. You can follow Brandt on his social media channels at Brandt Snedeker on X and Instagram, and watch him this week at the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. Hope you keep this nice form going. Good to see you. Thanks so much, Brandt.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you having me on.